The Ginninderry joint venture is a land development project to develop residential suburbs on the west edge of Belconnen and into adjacent land in New South Wales. The joint venture, also referred to as the JV, has been operational since 2016. The JV is a commercial agreement between the ACT Government and Riverview Developments ACT that establishes how both parties contribute to the development of the project. This video summarises the JV agreement. Contact information is provided at the end of the video if you would like more detailed information. In 2016, the ACT Government and Riverview Developments ACT formed a joint venture to deliver the Ginninderry project, a world-class, environmentally sustainable, residential and commercial development to meet the needs of a growing Canberra and community. Extending into New South Wales once completed, more than 30,000 people will live in its 4 new suburbs, where around 11,500 homes will be built, along with new schools, shops, a market centre, an urban village, childcare and medical centres. A 600-hectare conservation corridor will be a feature of the new Ginninderry community. The Corkhill family, who started the Riverview Group, have been farming in the Canberra district since Robert Corkhill arrived in Canberra in 1883 from the Isle of Man and took up work at the Campbell estate of Duntroon. They have had a succession of farms, including a dairy farm named Riverview, which is now submerged under Lake Burley-Griffin. The family acquired the Parkwood, New South Wales land in 1984 as an operating farm. They negotiated the purchase of this farm from the Shepherd family in 2002, adding 670 hectares to the farm area. In 2004, the ACT planning strategy identified the ACT land as potential future urban investigation area, and in 2012, it was incorporated into the ACT's territory plan as land for future urban use. Because a large part of Corkhill's ACT rural lease had been identified as having potential for urban developments, Riverview began to investigate and brought to the territory the opportunity for a larger scale project. The ACT leasehold system ensures that the financial and other benefits of development of all ACT land accrue to the community rather than to private leaseholders. The creation of the significant mutual benefits for the adjoining properties on both sides of the New South Wales and ACT border made sense to the JV partners entering into a heads of agreement in May 2013. Riverview committed their New South Wales land to the JV and surrendered its 99-year rural lease in the ACT to the territory at a rural value so that it could be included by the territory in the project. The territory also included land north of Parkwood Road in the JV to increase its overall shareholding. The ACT development potential, after allowing for the conservation corridor without the JV, is 290 hectares, because the planning rules require a buffer between the edge of the development and the border. Inclusion of the Riverview New South Wales land allows the buffer land marked in purple on the ACT side of the border to be developed. This additional land allows for the development of approximately 2,600 houses in the ACT that would not have occurred without including the Riverview New South Wales land. There are also 4 other New South Wales owners who participated in the New South Wales rezoning, but not as part of the JV. The joint venture brings together these respective land holdings, providing a larger contribution to the future housing and the community needs of the capital region in a single master plan development. A joint venture board is responsible for leadership and governance of the project. The JV board includes 3 representatives from each of the ACT Government and Riverview Developments and is led by an independent chair appointed by the territory. Riverview Group has many years of development experience which they bring to the project. The JV agreement includes the appointment of Riverview as the development manager and Riverview Sales and Marketing as the sales and marketing manager. The provision of these services by Riverview are paid for by the JV at market competitive rates. The equity each party had in their own land and the development potential of the land formed the basis for calculating shares in the joint venture. Based on the land contribution and the projected financial outcome, a ratio of 60-40 was agreed as representative of each party's contribution to the project. The territory has 60%, Riverview has 40%. ACT government land provides urban land holdings equivalent to 63% of the JV area, and Riverview Group land provides 37%. However, when we look at the estimated future development benefits, the ACT government land provides 56% while the Riverview Developments land provides 44% of the total benefit. On the basis of this, a 60-40 equity share was agreed. The agreed equity share was as a result of a rigorous assessment of the proposal by central government agencies and independently validated, all of which led to the ACT government endorsement of the project in May 2016. The New South Wales land was rezoned in July 2020. The joint venture partners each contributed initial funding and their land holdings to establish the joint venture. As per the JV 60-40 split, the Territory contributed $600,000 and Riverview contributed $400,000. These contributions provided working capital to fund the startup of the JV. Additional funding is required to grow the project beyond initial contributions. Project funding could be sourced from a bank, and in the case of wholly private sector land development project, this would normally be the approach taken. In all JV arrangements where the Territory is a participant, the opportunity exists for the Territory itself to provide the funding and capture the benefits that would otherwise flow to the bank. For this reason, the JV agreement provides for the project funding to come from either banks or the Territory. The decision as to which funding source is selected was at the sole discretion of the Territory. Regardless of the source, the JV agreement requires that all funding arrangements are to be at market rates. The Territory chose to provide funding to the JV. The funding arrangement provides for an agreed commercial rate of return to be paid by the joint venture to the Territory on the outstanding balance of funding provided. An independent valuation was undertaken in December 2019 that confirms the funding provided is more than adequately secured against the value of the project. This additional project funding is repaid as surplus settlement monies from land sales flow to the joint venture. This project funding facility will be repaid by 2021. For more information about the Ginninderry JV and project, you may call the Suburban Land Agency on 6205 0600 or visit suburbanland.act.gov.au.